comment period. Name and address, please.
Good evening. My name is Patrick Boyle, 30 Windsor Road in Stoneham. This is my second appearance before the Board of Selectmen. I'm here to again express my concerns about a matter considering two town employees and a fence that exists between my property and one of the town employees. When I was before the board 2 weeks ago, I believe it was, I was told to go to the Board of Appeals. The Board of Appeals told me that they will not hear the motion because it's past 30 days since the building inspector sent their letter. As you know from my appearance a couple of weeks ago, the reason why I didn't go to the Board of Appeals is I went to the town administrator at the time because two employees of the town were breaking the law. Okay, one, the building inspector falsely certified an official document in violation of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 268, Section 6A, which is punishable by up to $1,000 or imprisonment by not more than a year. The abutter to my property attempted to steal town land, which is larceny. Okay, nobody that I have dealt with in the town seems to be taking this seriously. I simply want the fence fixed and for the town to make their employees abide by the same laws and bylaws that the citizens of the town and the taxpayers of the town abide by. I'd like to have the board provide some relief and direct that the fence be fixed and to deal with the employees appropriately. As I said, in my business and anything in the private sector, if you break the law, you lose your job.
So those very serious allegations, I did speak to town council. I don't know if he's been in touch with you or not.
Nobody from the town has been in touch with me.
So I think because you're making very serious allegations against town employees in a public forum,
right.
I think what we'd like to do is maybe have, maybe I will see if Debbie can have Mr. Galvin maybe contact the resident or work something out because I have been in touch with town council in regards to your case.
And here, again, is the proof.
Yep.
This is the letter from my abutter, not disputing any of the facts I've laid out. The proof of the building inspectors certifying that the fence was below 6 feet, when clearly from these photographs, which a number of you saw last week, it is not.
So, yep, so as I said, if you'd like to give those to David, you can. I'll make sure the town council gets them.
Thank you very much for your time.
As I said, I was in touch with him.
Yeah,
and
I appreciate it. It's just I haven't heard anything back from the town. Thank you.
Shelley, also I'd like to add to your comments that I wasn't here for the last meeting, but I did watch the tape and I did hear your concerns. And as far as this board goes, I think that if there is a meeting with the town attorney that because the board was made aware, I'm concerned about indemnification matters and legal liability. So if the board was involved and aware, and now that I'm involved, I'd like to just ask that the board be included in that.
Yeah, I will have Mr. Galvin fill you in on what I was told. Thank you. Yeah, and we have to be very careful because, so first of all, public comment is an opportunity for residents to come and bring concerns. It's always best, and this is not just for your benefit, but for everybody's benefit, that if you're having a problem with a town employee, that you try to follow the chain of command through. I understand that you attempted to do that. We're in a rather difficult position here, given all the circumstances. That being said, I was in touch with the town attorney, Mr. Galvin. Briefed me on some background and history, and certainly if the board would like to be briefed, I can make sure that Mr. Galvin gets in touch with each of you. I'd rather go through our town council than have a discussion here. If you,
you're not unless it's posted.
We can't have a discussion.
My only fear is town council being used inappropriately. this is something that, unfortunately, it has.
I think it was something that got reviewed by him anyway, so.
That was my only concern.
Yeah, that he knew about it before any of this, so we can certainly check with him. And yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Any other public comments?
Dear Select Board members,
If you could.
William Dunn, 11 Cage Road. I'm here with my wife, Denise.
Thank you.
My name is William Dunn. I'm here with my wife, Denise. We reside at 11 Cage Road for the last 26 years. I'd first like to congratulate the Stoneham High football team and the women's soccer team for the great accomplishments this fall. Success really brings the community together. We are here this evening because I saw Patrick Boyle come before the board to bring a problem which he had with his neighbor. I am here for the same reason. My complaint also involves abuse of authority by a town employee who is also a member of the Board of Selectmen. Like Mr. Boyle, we too have reported the situation with the previous town administrator and the town attorney, but the situation remains unaddressed. What further prompted our presence here this evening is that we watched the Select Board members' remarks during that same public comment on December 4th. And Patrick Boyle of Windsor Road came before the board, and I was pleased to hear the chair and the entire board agree that no one should use their official position improperly, and there was no one who was above the law. As a lifelong resident of Stoneham and a taxpayer, I was happy to hear all of you say that. However, in a meeting on December 30th, during a specific agenda item, one of the board members discussed how he has been calling the police on a neighbor. Well, on that neighbor.
Mr. Dunn, your name was never brought up during that meeting, so if people are talking in generalities, nobody would have known that had you not just disclosed it.
Okay.
Just to be clear.
That's fine. This board member stated that he feels he has a right to use a position to instruct the police to give out tickets. The Select Board is not an enforcement agency, nor does it have power to dispatch police officers, which is exactly what has happened. Last year, we were the victims of several visits from the police department because they said someone in the neighborhood had called on us. This board member ordered the police to ticket us on more than one occasion.
I'm sorry. No Select Board member, I don't care who it is allowed to order the police to do anything. If the police ticketed you, I have to believe the police had due cause. Otherwise, you're saying that the police are doing things inappropriately. That's basically what I'm hearing.
Okay.
So I need to caution you, as you go forward, I'm going to hear you out. This is not what public comment is meant for. If you have personal issues, they should be dealt with appropriately and in a specific manner. Same with other residents, not just you. Any resident who has a problem should go through the proper channels. Please continue.
I'm not here to rehash history, but we are here because I watched your meetings. All of you said essentially that no one should be abusing their official position. No one is above the law.
Yep.
Over the last few weeks, I have watched the Selectmen's meetings on TV, and twice in those meetings, this board member brought up our residents in reference to parking and fence issues. Last year, he took pictures of us shoveling snow. We received visits from the police last winter during snowstorms that stated that a neighbor had called and complained about the snow being distributed. Each time the police found no findings. We shovel from one end of our property to the other end, and most of the time we clear the sidewalks even further than our property extends, so our neighbors' children have a clear path to walk safely to school. We also shovel out the fire hydrants in front of our neighbor's house for the fire department. Many people have told us that shoveling bylaw, sponsored by this board member, was enacted because of us.
This is all.
You know what? I'm going to have to.
It's
Yep,
ridiculous.
please.
Twisted.
Yep, please.
I got pictures of snow blowing
Okay.
to the street.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to end this now
Okay.
because you know what? this is really getting to and we're here, we have people waiting in the audience for recognitions. I don't like to shut down public comment. If you could send that to the board in an email, I would appreciate it, so that everybody can see whatever final comments that you have. But I think we're getting to a point where now this is becoming a personal thing between a resident and a board member. I'm going to give you a little bit of leeway with this.
All I want to say is, in fairness to Mr. Dunn and Mr. Boyle, they've both come here today for the same issue, that without debating the issue, Madam Chairwoman, their problems are unresolved. I didn't hear any names mentioned from Mr. Dunn, nor did I hear any names mentioned from Mr. Boyle. But clearly their level of frustration has risen, and clearly they feel like, as a resident, they're not having their voice heard. So while I appreciate you interjecting, I would ask you and appeal to you to let Mr. Dunn finish his remarks without any in any accusatory fashion. Again, I didn't hear him mention any names, but I do think he deserves to come here tonight, and he deserves to finish his remarks, Madam Chairwoman.
Wait. My issue is less about board members. We're elected officials, and people can say what they want about us. We are now talking about town employees being accused of breaking the law, and the police being accused of not acting in an appropriate way. So that's where I'm drawing the line.
I don't see that, Madam Chairwoman. I see Mr. Dunn just stating the facts. I don't think he alleged at all that the police acted inappropriately. I think he's just here because of frustration, and he just wants to be heard.
Saying he was being ticketed for no reason.
He said he was visited from no reason, and the police had no findings.
Okay.
So
I'm not going to debate this. You know what? I'm not going to debate it anymore. You have one more minute, and if I feel like you're drawing
fair enough, Madam
past,
Caroline
I'm
gets
going to
to talk,
stop.
Shelley.
Nope.
If she gets to talk, I get to talk.
Thank you.
I'm telling you right now.
So we all should be treated equally, is the message I heard from all of you on December 4th. We wish to be treated equally as well. My family and I have been wronged. I feel targeted because of our past relationship with this board member. I know you cannot publicly respond, but I want this harassment to stop. My wife and daughters are also very concerned about the retaliation from this board member now that we have a complaint publicly. Madam Chairwoman, we don't wish to live in fear or have to pursue further action, so I ask you to please address our concerns. I would also ask you to just let it be entered into the meeting. Thank you for your time.
So I'll send you pictures.
You can send pictures to everybody.
Please.
Anybody else have public comment?
Let's see where that came from.
Fine. All right, moving along. On to more pleasant agenda items. I will say, I feel public comment is an important part of a selectmen's meeting. We always had public comment on our agenda at the school committee meetings. Very rarely did we have to entertain comments like this. I think that it would behoove residents to remember that what you get up and say publicly is on record, that it's being watched by the public, that it's being watched by people who are trying to move to this town, that it's being watched, by your neighbors. So bear that in mind, not just the people here, but people watching at home, that when you come to a selectmen's meeting and make accusations, that those things have ramifications. You can say what you want about us in general because we're elected officials, and that's the way it goes. But when you start accusing public employees of very serious allegations, I have some issue with that. So,
Madam Chairwoman, just
that's
a
where I
point.
stand. No, we're moving
I
along.
would just ask that Mr. Dunn gets a follow-up, just like Mr. Boyle did.
Yep, he will. We're moving along.